Dead or Alive is one of the longest running franchises in the fighting game community. It has a roster full of interesting and varied characters and has had a huge following for quite some time. Although the game has mostly been known for its skimpy outfits and over-sexualization of characters, this year, Team Ninja has tried to cover that up. Well, for the default costumes anyway. It seems they're trying to be taken more seriously as a fighting game and be a key player in the fighting game community. So, is Dead or Alive 6 a title worth having? Well, I'm gonna play it and let you know if I think Dead or Alive 6 is worth it. Dead or Alive 6 is a 3D fighting game similar to games like Tekken or Soul Calibur. The thing that sets this game apart from the others is its unique counter mechanic. Similarly to games like Killer Instinct or Mortal Kombat, where you can break out of a combo a few times in a match, in Dead or Alive 6 you can break out of any combo, if you can properly predict which move your opponent is about to do, with the exception of when you're being juggled. This is a mechanic that leads to some pretty swingy matches, as the counters can do a lot of damage and can really change the momentum of battle. Similarly to Dead or Alive 5, the special moves are back, with the addition of the special counter, which can get you out of any combo without having to guess which direction it's coming from. There are a good variety of modes in Dead or Alive 6. The story mode has returned and it's very similar to Dead or Alive 5. You can choose which path of the story you want to take, which honestly is a bit overwhelming. A lot of times I didn't know what the right order of the story was, and honestly Dead or Alive has one of the weakest stories in the fighting games, so in reality, I only found the story mode as a good way to try out all the different characters. Another thing that was bad about the story mode and, well, the game in general is the voiceover work. While the voice acting itself isn't terrible, the syncing of the voices was so bad in English that I was forced to switch it to Japanese, so that the characters wouldn't be talking when their lips weren't moving. It's not that big of a deal, but it's an aspect of the game that definitely could have used a bit more polishing. There's about 25 different characters to play with in the game, and about 14 stages to play on. The usual modes are back: Arcade, Time Attack, and Survival. Arcade being the usual mode where you fight opponents in a variety of difficulties, the Time Attack, which is similar to the arcade mode but you're encouraged to beat the game as fast as possible, and the Survival mode where you fight as many opponents until you lose. The new DOA quests are a series of fights you choose from a list, and you have to complete different tasks before winning each match. This mode was another good way to try out all the characters, as well as try new techniques that you wouldn't normally use in a fight. Where the game really falls apart for me is the online multiplayer. Right now, the only mode that can be played is online ranked. No player lobbies or even a way to play with your friends is available right now, which is really disappointing because a lot of the fun in fighting games is being able to play with your friends. Another downside that I found was that there's quite a bit of lag while playing online. This was a bit inconsistent, which means it could be because of the opponent I was playing, but it was definitely something I was kind of disappointed with. It also took a bit to find opponents sometimes, which I wasn't sure if it was because of my rank or the lack of players online. Team Ninja did release a statement saying that online lobbies would come by the end of March, but as of right now, it is a much needed addition. There's also a very in-depth training mode in the game. You can practice really easy combos, all the way up to the very complicated things that the pros do. This is a very important feature to all fighting games, and I'm really glad that Dead or Alive included it. There's also a good mix of costumes in the game for the characters, as well as a good amount of customizations to make your characters look however you want. Unfortunately, it's not as deep as the character customizations in Tekken or Injustice, but it's nice to have at least a little something. All in all, Dead or Alive is a fun fighting game with a good variety of modes to play. It's another solid entry in the franchise that I'm sure fans of DOA will enjoy. However, if you're not already invested in Dead or Alive, this game isn't really going to change your mind. Due to the weak story mode and the lack of good multiplayer options, I'm going to have to say that Dead or Alive isn't quite worth it. Of course, this could all change with a few updates. So, what did you guys think of Dead or Alive 6? Do you think there's enough here to justify the game? Or do you think Team Ninja missed out on just a few too many things? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you like our content, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the newest video game content. This was Steven from Team Blur, and I'll see you next time.